Coming to you from the Ultra Staff Studios in Chicago, welcome to the Staffing Buzz Network with your host, Bob Petke. Hello, listeners and viewers. I am Bob Petke. I am your host of the Staffing Buzz Network. So excited to have you on here listening and watching us today as we have another spotlight of one of the speakers and one of the partners that we have that will be attending the EDGEovation 2026. EDGEovation 2026. This is for those Ultra Staff users. This is your chance to come together collectively as a group and to meet with other Ultra Staff Edge users and actually, spend a conference day together, attending some of our sessions that we will be having on all of the latest and greatest innovations with EDGEovation and Ultra Staff Edge. We're going to have our best and brightest folks that are going to be leading breakout sessions so that you can learn more about Ultra Staff Edge and take advantage of some of the things that maybe you're not using yet, because it's such a big, robust package, right? There's some things there that we know that you're not using it, and some of the latest and greatest technology that we have with some of the AI innovations that we have individually, and also talking about AI and talking about some different types of integrations where there's automations. I'm about to bring on Pankaj Jindal, who is one of our platinum sponsor. He is the platinum sponsor from Sense. And before I do that, I just want to remind everybody that this conference, if you haven't registered for it, Edge users, again, EDGEovation, sweeping the nation, April 21st. It's in Oak Brook, Illinois. Great location at the Drury Lane Theater. And then the cherry on top is after that, the next 2 days following that meeting, April 22nd and 23rd, the Midwest Staffing Conference, one of the biggest, brightest, best staffing regional sessions will be held. And for Edge users, you're able to go ahead and register for us, and you can get discount pricing. If you haven't registered yet and you want to see the barcode that we have, here's that barcode right here. So if you click on this while you're watching, boom, you're going to be able to get yourself registered. We'll get you in there. And again, April 21st, that's going to be the EDGEovation for Ultra Staff Edge users. And stay an extra couple of days. All your information, you can find information out here. You could always give us a call or check our website. But get yourself registered if you haven't already. What are you waiting for? Come on, let's go. So I want to bring on our guest here today, Pankaj Jindal, who is a platinum sponsor for EDGEovation. Again, I'm going to remind you, April 21st in Oak Brook at the Drury Lane Theater. A little bit about Pankaj. He's a staffing veteran and a co-founder of Sense, which is Sense. If you know Sense, it's the first talent engagement platform designed specifically for the staffing industry. And with over 20 years of experience of running a staffing and recruiting technology companies, Pankaj is an expert on candidate experience, recruiting productivity, redeployment, and understanding the day-to-day problems faced by recruiters. Pankaj has used this practitioner's knowledge to create Sense, which can help transform consultant care paradigm for the staffing companies. And a little bit more about Pankaj. He's on the circuit, right? He speaks on that staffing circuit. So there's a good chance you may have seen him already at a staffing conference, either somewhere that you've had locally or nationally. Speaks at the ones big and small regionally. So Pankaj, besides Sense, tell us a little bit more about Pankaj, the man, the myth, the legend.
Well, you're being too kind, but one of the things that I really enjoy is being a foodie and traveling around the world. So outside of everything you said professionally, I try and take a few trips every year to go try out cuisine. So if you guys ever want to talk food or travel, I am your guy. So please hit me up anytime.
Well, you're coming to Chicago, and we've got a pretty good eclectic palette of food here for people to partake in. So maybe we can break bread together.
Absolutely, I love the Chicago food scene.
Nice. So we've got EDGEovation coming up. You are a platinum sponsor. We're thankful for that. You're going to be our opening keynote speaker. And we're excited to have you here. People are in for a treat to have you here. Talk to us a little bit about Sense and talk about your part in the staffing industry. Like, how long have you had this presence specifically with this particular offering? And talk to us a little bit more about just what you're seeing in the marketplace.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, first of all, and I think, some of you might already know this, but I've been a lifer in the industry. Before I started Sense, I spent 15 years running staffing companies. So I very much come from your world. I've, been an operator and was, getting my hands dirty every single year, building companies that exceeded about $100 million in revenue. Now, Sense, we specifically started that a little over 10 years ago at the beginning of 2016. And when we did, we essentially wanted to change the employee engagement, the contractor engagement paradigm. And since then, obviously, our customers' wish lists have made into our roadmap. And now we think of ourselves as a system of engagement. Just as you have ABD, for example, as your system of record, our belief has always been that to be successful using your tech stack, you really need a system of record like ABD, and you need a system of engagement that sits on top of that, like Sense, and bidirectionally talks to each other. What I'm excited about talking to you guys is what we've done in the last couple of years, which is taken our engagement platform and move it completely into the AI paradigm, and how that is changing staffing companies, how that is changing the life of recruiters, and most importantly, how that is changing the operating margins, EBITDA, and profitability of how staffing companies are run now.
And that's what I wanted to kind of double click on for my next question. You're talking now. You're at the tip of the iceberg about value, right? Working with EBITDA and things like that, and improving that. Talk to us more about the value that Sense is bringing to the staffing marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, first of all, there are 3 or 4 different ways of thinking about it. Way number 1, which is very easy to understand, is recruiting is a repetitive function. Obviously, there are people who are doing the same thing over and over again, for months, for years on end. And even if they move out of the role, there will be other people doing that. So it lends itself to automation really well. It lends itself to some of this stuff being done by an automation agent, by sort of an automation workflow versus a human. So what we have done is we've taken every mundane task, every manual task that a recruiter is required to do today and automate that. And from our standpoint, it gives recruiters more time to actually do stuff that they're good at, which is human conversations. Talk to a customer and convince them of hiring, a particular person. Talk to a person and convince them of joining a particular customer. Negotiate bill rates, negotiate pay rates, be there when somebody has an actual problem. So we like to think of ourselves as the co-pilot that is essentially doing all the stuff, that is not revenue generating, while we enable your recruiters to become revenue generating. Now, what I'll talk to you about is how AI today is enabling us to also become an autopilot. So there are going to be situations where you essentially do everything 100% end-to-end automatically. And there are going to be use cases and workflows that lend itself to do that. But it's up to you on whether you use Sense as a co-pilot or an autopilot. But our world is about making your recruiters more productive, increasing your revenue per employee, decreasing your operating costs, and consequently increasing your bottom line.
So really using automation and even some AI technology to go ahead and take some of those mundane, repetitive, over and over tasks, absorb them through the Sense tool, and then allowing people to do what they do best. And that's be people, right?
That's right.
Build relationships, hold on to relationships with the people they put on assignment, establish a rapport with their clients, go after new clients.
That's
such a tremendous value, right? And I'm a former user. When I was in the staffing world, you and I sat down and we talked about it, and we brought Sense on board. So I can speak from firsthand experience. So if you see me across the room and you're like, "Hey, Bob, come here, tell these guys what happened," I'm your guy. I'm
Thank
your
you.
guy, Pankaj. All right.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'll give you one very quick example, but I'll happily get into this deeply, during my talk.
Yeah.
What's possible with AI today, and I'll walk you through the dream scenario. There is a job that opens up, and as soon as the job opens up in ABD, and an AI agent will automatically match that job to the millions of people that you might have in your database. And at the same time, it's going to listen to people who are applying to this job.
Yep.
We match that job against people, and we come up with 50, 100, 200. That's up to you. You define that. So let's say we come up with the 100 people and say these are the top 100 people that we need to reach out to. A second AI agent automatically reaches out to those 100 people while keeping their consent preferences in mind. So if any of them had said email me, they'll get an email. If they've said text me, they'll get a text. If they had said call me, they'll get an AI voice call. This happens automatically.
Okay.
The objective here is to get everybody to talk. So even the people who are getting an email or a text, the message is, can we call you? Now, the fact that this is omni-channel, you're using all these different methods to reach out to people, makes the pickup rates on these calls way higher than the industry. Typically, if you picked up the phone and called 100 people, you're likely to get less than 10 people to pick up. Our pickup rates are at 56%. And the reason that happens is I just sent Bob a message saying, Bob, you're a great fit for this new role we have open. I'm going to call you in 10 minutes, which gives Bob the ability to say, don't call me. I'm at my son's basketball game. Call me 3 hours from now. Call me tomorrow. Call me on Sunday. Okay, so we're getting to a point where we've gotten some consents and we're calling these people. Let's keep our funnel going. Assume that of the 100 people that you reached out, which you found out from the millions of people, 40 to 50 people never engaged with you, never responded to anything, never picked the phone call, never responded to the text or the email. The 50 that did, you can now do a voice AI screening. And I'll show you some of this live on how natural that feels and
Sure.
how consistent that feels. And as you do that, there is an AI agent that is rematching these people. Just before I called Bob, he was my number one guy. After I talked to Bob, he's missing a couple of pieces of experience. He's number 3 guy now. So you rematch and you get to a point and say, here are our top 10 people. Now, at that point, we can send these 10 people to a recruiter in your company. And that's what most companies today call recruiter in the loop. So the recruiter is the one that's making the actual decisions. Or if you're against a timeline, you are working with an MSP, VMS type environment, and the people who get the resumes out first, qualified resumes out first, are likely to get the job filled. You could take these 10 people, take the top 2, top 3, however many you're allowed to submit, or all 10, and immediately submit them. Now, all of this is basically being done using AI. And like I said earlier, you can use this as a co-pilot, or you can use this as an autopilot.
Pankaj, the only thing I didn't like about your message with that, when Bob went from number 1 to number 3.
should have used Jennifer.
Jennifer, that would have been better, I think. Jennifer's laughing, blinking her eyes. So Pankaj, Ultra Staff Edge and Sense, we've been at this for a while. About how long have we done this together? We've got this bulletproof integration between our two organizations. Talk to us about that and about what collectively people should know about how we've worked together so far. And for people that are maybe on the fence and saying, man, I need to, I got to give these guys Sense a shout out, and maybe we need to explore that. Take me through some of that.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, I will say this without any hesitation. Partnering with ABD, John, and Terry has been the most delightful experience. We partner with 60 different ATSs across, staffing and even outside of staffing. And this is probably our smoothest integration and our smoothest relationship. So I would say that without any hesitation, we have a great integration, like I said, that works bi-directionally. We formally got into a partnership back in May of 2021. So, by the time I'm at the conference, it'll be exactly 5 years. And we've just worked very well, very closely together in exchanging customer references, names. Hey, this customer can use some help. Sense, go talk to them. This customer doesn't need you guys. Stop bugging them. And we've just respected each other's thought leadership in space. And I think this is one of the best partnerships that exists in the industry today.
It's a great partnership. I've worked and collaborated with people on your team.
Yeah.
And your team has done the same with me. And we have, swapped information, and we've put people in that space and place to thrive, survive, and impact their EBITDA, and to decrease their turnover, and to get to people faster, better, more efficiently and effectively than ever before. I can't say enough about this partnership, and I can speak on behalf of our organization on this. Very thankful for it. Very thankful for that. So great. So, people are going to get a chance to come by. We're going to have an exhibit hall. Maybe we'll have somebody in there some time where you get a chance to talk to somebody. But let's transition, because we talked about it earlier. But you're going to be doing a keynote, and a lot of people are going to want to hear this message. You've talked a little bit about it already, but it's the AI agents at work, redefining scale and speed in staffing. Give us some more information about this. Why people are going to want to come see it? They're not going to want to miss it. Why, and maybe they're going to walk off and think, Sense. It makes sense to me, right? And by the way, what a heck of a name, Sense. You have no idea, for all those people that use Sense, how we're like, Sense makes sense, and Sense. Brilliant, brother.
Listen, the very first thing I would say, regardless of whether you like Sense or not like Sense, this is absolutely one thing that you have to be up to speed right now. We're working with hundreds of organizations now that have adopted some of our AI products. I can tell you that in larger organizations, their boards are telling the CEOs, hey, AI strategy. In other organizations, customers are asking the staffing companies, how are you using AI to make your operations more efficient, and how can you pass some of those savings back on to us? This is a train that is leaving the station really fast. Obviously, you can decide for your organization whether you want to be an early adopter or a mid-stage adopter or the very last adopter, but you need to understand what this technology is able to do now. And I'm looking forward to being at the conference, because those are the kind of conversations I enjoy. I'll happily give a chat, but what gives me even more, of a kick is actually getting down and dirty into what's your business, what are your use case, how do you make money, and where can AI come in and help? So, I'd love to talk to as many of you if you are curious while I'm there. I'll be around all day, and I'd love to get deeper into problems that we can solve. And I'll be equally honest with you if there are problems that we can't solve and what you're doing today is just working well. That's, I think, the key tenet of a good partnership. But it'll be very helpful to essentially talk to you about where AI is and where it is headed.
Pankaj, thank you. This is a user conference for UltraStaff Edge users. Yep. You're familiar with these conferences like this one. We've got some users, they're still trying to figure out, can I pull myself out of the office and can I come to this event? Being that you've got experience attending these things, what's a reason why you think it's important for somebody to make sure that they're at EDGEovation 2026, April 21st in Oak Brook at the Drury Lane Theater? Talk to us. Why is that important for them to be there?
Yeah, listen, the one thing I would say, I've always said this about the ABD community, it's very, very tight-knit. From my experience, people who are on the ABD platform, they just stay on that platform, which means the company is doing something right to make sure they're innovating with you. They're basically meeting all your needs. It's very important for you to essentially listen to the community and how the community is using the software. I'm always energized when I'm at one of these events, because I get to talk to 20, 30 people. I learn new perspectives. I learn new use cases. But for you want to make sure that you're moving along with the pace of the industry. If there are 4 or 5 or 10 companies that use ABD today that are doing some stuff at the cutting edge, you absolutely need to understand what they're doing. How can you incorporate that within your ecosystem, within your tech stack? And, just otherwise building relationships. This is a small industry and an even smaller cohort of people that use the ABD ecosystem. Just knowing people that you can call if you run into a roadblock, or if you're trying to do something special that you haven't done before, I think there is tremendous value in doing that. And again, like, it's basically a day. Come out, spend a day, and in that day you can just go back armed with a lot more.
Come and take a picture with Pankaj and Bob as well.
Yeah, and that, absolutely.
Come and take a picture. Perfect. Pankaj, again, so grateful for you and your platinum partnership here for the conference, for EDGEovation. Look forward to seeing you. What a great message. What a great partner that you've been, not only to us, but for those that you worked with in the industry. So we look forward to seeing you on April 21st. And until then, my friends, safe travels, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you so much, Bob. Always a pleasure chatting with you, and I look forward to seeing the entire group in a month here or so.
Perfect. Thanks, Pankaj.
Thank you, Bob.
So Pankaj Jindal, Pankaj, you can hang on here while I kind of finish up things here. But let's face it, this guy here is, I'm pointing in the right direction. This guy here, thankful to have him on. You're going to get a chance to see him April 21st. I believe you're sticking around for the Midwest Staffing Conference here as well. And just what a great opportunity to come. And make sure that you, if you haven't done so already, here is that QR code again. Make sure you click on it. Get yourself registered April 21st. We've got special pricing if you want to stay behind for the extra 2 days to the Midwest Staffing Conference. It's a must-see event. April 21st, Oak Brook, Illinois, at the Drury Lane Theater. So we're glad to have you there. So with that said, on behalf of Pankaj, we thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Staffing Buzz Network.